What if humanity had never discovered antibiotics? Imagine a world where the smallest scratch could be a death sentence. A world where a common cold often turns into pneumonia, and surgery is a game of Russian roulette. Today, we treat antibiotics as something ordinary. But what if they had never existed? What if, in 1928, Alexander Fleming had never noticed the mold that destroyed bacteria in his lab? Humanity would have missed out on one of the greatest medical breakthroughs. Let's dive into such a reality. Year is 2025, and antibiotics were never invented. In this world, hospitals resemble fortresses of fear more than places of healing. Picture a large city filled with the scent of herbal infusions, pungent disinfectants, and quiet despair. Hospitals are overcrowded, with sick people lining the hallways, coughing and pleading for help. Doctors fight an invisible enemy, bacteria, with no weapon to stop them. Without antibiotics, even a minor infection like an inflamed cut can turn into sepsis and claim a life within days. Mortality from bacterial diseases, pneumonia, tuberculosis, postpartum infections, reaches 40%. Families lose children, parents, and friends to illnesses that, in our world, are cured in a week with a single pill. Meet Barbara, a young mother living in this alternate 2025. She recently gave birth to her daughter, Emily, her eyes glowing with joy the first time she held her. But the happiness of motherhood fades quickly. After giving birth, Barbara develops a fever, an infection easily treated with antibiotics in our world. Here, the doctors are powerless. They try cauterization, herbal compresses, even bloodletting, methods resurrected from the grim pages of medieval medicine. Barbara weakens by the day, her skin pale, her breath shallow. Her husband, Oliver, begs the doctors to find a way to save her, but in this world, there is no magic pill. Barbara becomes one of countless lives lost to something we now take for granted. Oliver is left alone with his newborn child, knowing that even she may not live to see her first birthday due to something as simple as a cold. This world without antibiotics has changed not only medicine, it has reshaped society itself. The global population is far smaller than our reality, perhaps only half of today's 8 billion. Without antibiotics, the average life expectancy has dropped to 45 years, just like in the 19th century. Children rarely reach adolescence, and adults live in constant fear of injury. Economies suffer as labor forces dwindle from illness. Factories shut down as workers fall ill from tuberculosis or streptococcal infections. Agriculture barely holds on as bacterial infections wipe out livestock as relentlessly as they do humans. Governments enforce strict quarantines and build isolation wards, but they only slow, not stop, the spread of disease. Medicine in this world is a mix of science, desperation, and superstition. Without antibiotics, doctors have turned back to ancient remedies. Herbal teas, honey, colloidal silver, anything that might help has become the foundation of treatment. But these methods are unreliable, and the outcomes are unpredictable. Cities are full of charlatans selling miracle elixirs that promise immunity. The wealthy pay fortunes for these fake cures, but most are just sugar water or colored liquid. In rural areas, people return to rituals and prayers, hoping divine forces will protect them from disease. Science, which gave us antibiotics in our world, is here mired in hopelessness. Researchers spend years chasing alternatives, but without Fleming's discovery, they grope in the dark, wasting resources on fruitless experiments. Wars in this world are different too. In our reality, antibiotics saved millions of soldiers during World War II, allowing wounds to be treated that would once have been fatal. In a world without antibiotics, wars end more quickly, not from victory, but from epidemics. Soldiers die not just from bullets, but from gangrene festering in muddy trenches. Pneumonia, dysentery, and typhoid are as deadly as guns. Historical events like global wars or colonization might have unfolded very differently. For instance, European colonizers might not have conquered the Americas if their armies had died off from infections faster than from native resistance. But humanity doesn't give up. In this world, people have learned to adapt, though at a terrible cost. Cities build isolated quarters to keep the sick separate from the healthy. Sterilization becomes a religion. Every instrument, every cloth is boiled before use. People wear masks, avoid handshakes, and hugs have become rare, almost taboo. Some cities embrace survival of the fittest. The weak perish, perish, and the strong pass on their genes. It's a cruel but effective process that makes the population more resilient. Yet the price of this adaptation is millions of lost lives in a society living in constant fear. This world without antibiotics makes us reflect on how fragile our reality is. But without one accidental discovery, we might be living in a world where every cough is a threat, every cut could be the end. This story reminds us how science has transformed our lives. It teaches us to appreciate progress and shows that every step forward is a triumph of human intellect over the chaos of nature. If you enjoyed this glimpse into an alternate reality, like the video, subscribe, and don't forget to wash your hands after watching.